I'd like to say just a bit more about the situation right now with the student protests and the backlash, the extreme backlash that they're getting with the city PD moving in and shutting them down and basically, as I said before, these college kids are getting the Charlottesville treatment, and it was exactly like what happened in Charlottesville, where they acted like something unlawful was happening when it wasn't, and they came down hard with violence when they were the violent instigators, the state, but also in Charlottesville, Antifa, where the agents of the state and Antifa were doing it hand in hand, getting it done hand in hand, doing the will of the neolib establishment. Now, what's going on with these student protests, these pro-Palestinian protests? It seems like it's a little bit more complicated because I've read some stuff which suggests that these protests are getting, some money, and it stands to reason because they are very well organized, and they're going on simultaneously on various campuses across the country. It would stand to reason that some moneyed organization is giving them stuff, but at the same time, they are undeniably unwelcome. Their message is unwelcome by the establishment, and this is the same establishment that rooted on the routing of the Unite the Right people in Charlottesville in 2017. It's the same establishment that rooted on the mostly peaceful riots of 2020. That had corporate sponsorship even. As cities were burning, as hooligans were rampaging through the cities, you had supposed riot police taking a knee before these hooligans, and generally speaking, it was they were being egged on by the establishment. The establishment was wanting this to happen. Now, in this case, it seems to me that the establishment is foursquare behind Israel in the United States. There can be little doubt about that. Israel is one of those third rail kind of subjects. Support for Israel and also immigration, like support for mass immigration. Those are two rails, like third rail kind of situations. You're not allowed to touch those rails, and if you do, then you invite a huge backlash. And so this support of these demonstrations in support of Gaza, in support of Palestinians, in support of the establishment of a Palestinian state, and some of the chants the pro-Palestinian chants that they make that could also be construed as anti-Israeli chants, and a definite. I mean, you hear these people talk, and I know these are lefty types, but they're going into some territory that's really risky territory, maybe without even knowing it. I mean, talking about Zionists. Of course, they characterize Zionists as another branch of white supremacy because they're leftist. That's the language that they use. Nevertheless, to go after Zionists, to say we oppose the Zio-fascists or whatever terminology they use. That's it's pretty clear what the meaning of that is, and what that and that's a big red flag, big no-no, I should say, for anyone in power, because people in power, no matter who they are, even if they're politicians that you like, they all have to kiss ass to IPAC. They all have to go to the Wailing Wall and show their support for our greatest ally. And these demonstrators are, pretty, directly opposing our greatest ally. And there's lots of course, there's lots of concomitant stuff with that gets us into dangerous territory, cancelable territory if you talk about things like disproportionate power of a certain ethnic group and so forth. And these kids, wittingly or unwittingly, these demonstrators, I think most of whom are probably just idealistic kids who are standing for something that they think is right, and probably for some of them it's just something to do. It'd be interesting just to get a survey of what these what's making these college kids join these groups or take part in these demonstrations. But in any case, even though the demonstrations are being organized, and I've even heard that they get Soros money from some, and that's disputed. I've heard different things about that. It would be like a 4D chess kind of thing, because I can't believe Soros money would be backing something that opposes Israel. I just don't. That doesn't compute in my mind. So there might be some scenario where they're building up these protests only to have them be knocked down, to have them the backlash come, in earnest, which it has. You've seen any of the footage from NYU, any of the footage from Texas, UT, any of the footage from was it USC, University of Southern California. I mean, there was some meme out, these leftists who support these demonstrations, they are they are not establishmentarian leftists. They're talking very poorly about Biden and Democrats, and basically saying they're just the same as the Republicans. There's not a dime worth a difference. There was a meme I saw about how in California the LAPD was marching towards where the demonstrations are happening to shut everything down in USC on the USC campus. California, notoriously liberal Democrat state with a Democrat governor, Democrat senators, and of course Democrat president. And behind all of this suppression of these demonstrations. So what we see, interestingly, is the neolib neocon establishment lurching right or pivoting. I hate that word, pivot. I hate when people use the word pivot to talk about politics. It just sort of irritates me. It's sort of like when people say, "Let's unpack this. Let's unpack this." Okay, I'm going to pivot here. But basically, that's what they're doing. I mean, it's sort of like in 2020, it was like, yeah, we hate you, all you white nationalist types, supposedly white nationalist types, all of you people on the right, populist, Trump-supporting types, and now they're going going on the other side of the political spectrum and saying, all you leftists who won't get on the Democrat Party reservation, we're just as you're just as much in our sights, and we're going to take you down too with great brutality, just like we did the other side. So it's interesting to see all of this happening. I don't know where it's all going. I don't know what the end game is, if there is one. You know, I'm not going to say, I'm not someone who says, well, you know, I believe that the people who rule us are evil and nefarious and ruthless, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily smart. It doesn't mean that they necessarily always know what they're doing, or that their plans will always come to fruition. I don't cede to them greater intelligence, okay? I don't, you know, I know that they have access to all kinds of evidence, and, you know, they do all kinds of research, and they do all they have no, I mean, they have no soul, so and they're completely sociopathic, so they're willing to do whatever they can to gather intelligence, information, and so forth. So in that sense, they probably have some idea of what works propagandistically and what doesn't. But on the other hand, there's always the wild card out there, and this is the point that I always try to harp on, and I want to, you know, make it clear. If you're essentially, if you think that the would-be controllers are going to orchestrate everything, it's all going according to their plans, and they're just 12 steps ahead of everybody else. If you believe that, you basically believe that they are God. You basically believe that Big Brother is God. And no, Big Brother is not God. God is God. All right? And God has other plans. And God will throw a wrench into the mix. You know, it may not be when we expect it's going to happen. It may not be how we hope it will happen or how we want it to happen. But it's going to happen. And be assured, there's more going on than just the scheming of the sociopathic elites. So, what do y'all think? Leave your comments below.